Story number 3. Am I the asshole for wanting to vaccinate my sister's kids? This is from my New York Times column called The Ethicist. I am the primary caregiver for my elderly mother who has lupus and thus a compromised immune system. My sister has 4 young children, none of whom she has had vaccinated out of fear that vaccines cause autism. My mother and I watch all 4 children regularly, but have become increasingly uneasy in the face of outbreaks of measles and other communicable diseases. My mother and other relatives have implored my sister to reconsider her anti-vaxx stance. We have told her that if she doesn't, we will have to stop watching her children, which would be a significant hardship for her. My 2 older nephews are both denied entrance to a great local public school because my sister refuses to vaccinate, leading to even more babysitting time at my mother's house. The health center where my mother receives regular care hosts a biannual reduced-cost vaccination clinic. Would it be unethical for me to get the children inoculated there the next time such an event is held? I don't want to alienate my sister, but at what point does the common good outweigh individual choice?
You know what just jumped out at me is she mentioned reduced cost vaccination. So she's like, I want to vaccinate these kids, but let's do it on a budget.
Right. I like the way she talks. She's like, I am the primary caregiver for my elderly mother. Like, lady, just say you care for your mom, okay? Calm down, Hemingway.
I want to hear this lady when her house is on fire.
She's like, hello, 911. A great ill has befallen my home, for it has become engulfed in the most primal of elements. Please do send proper personnel before it is transformed into mere embers. Please bestow upon me thy gift of appropriate personnel.
First of all, she's going from 0 to 60, right? Like she's just going all the way.
Like trust-wise.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I think maybe she should just give the kids a haircut without asking first. See how that goes.
Right. Like see if it blows over a little bit. Like, she shouldn't just go all the way to something that she's probably obsessed with.
Exactly. Like, take him for some ice cream.
Yeah.
Take him to Europe. You know what I mean? Maybe start a punk band.
Right. That would be good.
And then be like, oh, by the way, I got them vaccinated.
She's like, wait a second. A punk band? Not in my home.
Vaccinations are punk rock, bro.
They are. That's how it's going to be soon, especially in the Upper East Side. A lot of this goes on by really wealthy people, which is so funny. I love the idea of a wealthy person being so rich and thinking they're above vax and then getting measles. Not a kid, though. A parent.
Measles, mumps, rubella, that's for the poor.
Nice. Measles, mumps, rubella. It kind of sounds like a spell. Measles, mumps, rubella. Oh my God, a Dementor. Oh, it's gone now. That killed it. This is going to seriously rock her relation with her sister. No question about it. It could estrange those kids from her for the rest of her life. So a good reason for her to do this in a respectful way is that she needs to be involved with these kids because their mother is a crazy anti-vaxxer. So you don't want to estrange them in this way.
Exactly. And also, the vaccinations do need to happen because the mother has that illness.
So here's some actual quotes from the Ethicist article. The columnist writes, I suppose there's a chance that your sister would reconsider if you and your mother decided that you would no longer look after her kids otherwise. But given the nature of her convictions and the fact that she wasn't deterred by her kids being excluded from public education, she isn't likely to respond to that pressure. Her problem isn't what she's doing, given what she believes. It's what she believes. It doesn't matter how sis leverages this. If she's like, all right, well, you can't hang out with our mom anymore. Clearly, this woman is already ready to throw whatever it is to the curb because she's not even ready to put the education first. This belief is a strong one.
It's so rigid, she's letting her kids getting not into good schools.
Right, and I understand it. And especially when you look at like social media feeds and all that, like once you go down this wormhole, by the way, I've been down the wormhole. Like I totally understand how people can think that vaccines kill you because like if you look up one article and you stick to that blog, you're totally going to go into this circle of things where it's like...
And then Rob Schneider endorses it and you're like, well, if Rob Schneider says...
Columnist also writes, so do what you can, but be mindful of what you can't. I found that to be a little bit of a softball. You know, I think there's something to be done here. I just think it's really hard. How do you get someone out of the anti-vax thing?
You can't make her do it because that doesn't seem ethical. But it's like you got to just try to convince her, I guess. Maybe send her down the wormhole of how vaccinations are important.
Elisa Collins writes, you would 100% be an a-hole for issuing medical treatment for kids that aren't yours. However, you are not the a-hole if you tell her you and your mom can't have them until they are vaccinated. Nate Sinclair writes, your sister is most definitely an a-hole and an idiot, but you would be a bigger asshole and idiot if you went through with this. See, I got to disagree. I'm coming back on this, Tony, because look, I'm going to assume that she could get away with this. in a legal sense. In other words, she won't be arrested and she won't be subject to a civil penalty.
I think it is illegal, though, right?
I don't know that it would be illegal. What would the crime be? Somebody said on the Facebook, like, the people who administer the vaccine could get in trouble, but I kind of feel like maybe, but not always.
Do you think it'd be better if she got the kids vaccinated and then never told her sister and just let the kids live a healthy, happy life?
100%. I think that's the moral mandate. I think if she could pull this off, I'm sorry, I completely disagree with Nate Sinclair. She would not be a bigger asshole nor a bigger idiot. She would only be if she got arrested or there was other serious legal penalties. And I'm going to assume that that is not the case for what I'm saying. And my point is, look, if you got an opportunity to be a hero, you are. The effect that these vaccines have on these kids is far outweighing your sister potentially being mad.
Like, just because you feel something so strongly and just because something might be correct doesn't mean that you can force your will onto other people. Like, it is not her children.
But why are you saying might be correct? This is not a case of might, right? This isn't isn't subjective.
Well, it doesn't matter. Even if it's an objective truth, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not your child.
But that's like saying you can beat your kid. Like, if I knew that you were beating your kids, would I be an asshole for taking your kids from you?
It's not her kids. They're not her children. So I think it would be an asshole move.
So basically all you're saying is parents have rights, which is like this abstract idea that parents have control over their kids. And you're saying it's wrong to violate that?
Yeah.
But why does that even matter if you're saving a kid from the nightmare of getting measles?
Because it's not your kid, so it's not your choice. So where do you draw the line then? Like, say her next door neighbor is also not vaccinated. Can she vaccinate the neighbor's kid?
Here's the difference. If you're in the car with your sister's kids and you say, hey, put on your seatbelts, okay? And sister's like, I don't believe in seatbelts because, seatbelts sometimes kill people, which they do, by the way. That's your right, right? It's your right to say, hey, I'm with them. I want them to put on seatbelts. But it would be insane for her to walk over to the neighbor's house as they're about to pull out of the driveway and be like, hey, put on your seatbelts. It's like, well, now you're interfering with someone's whole thing. You're not already part of it. You don't care about those people.
The seatbelt analogy actually really did it for me because seatbelts are mandatory. So even if you don't believe in seatbelts, you have to wear it for like the betterment of society, insurance companies, all that jazz. You have to wear seatbelts.
Right.
But I guess my only concern is since vaccinations are not mandatory, it's still kind of overstepping a boundary. But that is a very good point.
I agree. There's definitely a boundary that's being overstepped. I'm saying, and there was a Reddit post about this, and that was one of the big points that this guy had posted on Facebook that he vaccinated the kids. And I said, you're an asshole because the victory here is getting the kids vaccinated. Sister doesn't need to know. Tell the kids that what they got was they got their blood checked. They're not going to know. So if this is so important to you, then take the victory as a covert victory. And if you can pull it off, I think you should pull it off. It doesn't make you an asshole to pull it off. If you flaunt it in her face, of course you're an asshole because then you're basically saying like, oh, I want to reveal to you that I broke this boundary. James Breen posted this on the Facebook. When abortion is illegal, so you become an anti-vax parent. Outstanding move. I get it. So he's saying that abortion's illegal, so you're going to kill your kids by not vaccinating them.
I don't like this meme.
This meme sucks.
This is a whack
Jimmy,
meme.
back to paintball videos. Back to paintball videos, Jimmy. Carlos Morales Martinez writes, you're not the a-hole, but I don't believe you can legally do this. I hate people who don't vaccinate their kids, but it's their personal decision. I would keep sister away. Assuming this situation where legally you can't be sued or you think sis won't sue and you're not going to endanger a medical professional's life, and you can pull this off smoothly, which from what I read on Reddit, as a family member, you may be able to squeeze through some of this stuff. I say absolutely not the asshole for sneaking a vaccine because look, these kids are endangering society. They're endangering her mother. They are a threat.
A potential threat. We don't know for certain they're going to get sick. They're not protected.
There's a very good chance they're going to get sick over the course of their life to not have measles, especially with the fact that there's less and less people vaccinating. The biggest reason to vaccinate the kids, forget all that, is for the kids because measles is a major suck fest.
Overall, I would say not the asshole because it does seem like something that needs to be done. I think the trickery is the best option. Tell the kids are getting a little blood test. Go get them, get them vaccinated.
Absolutely.